Hey guys, in this episode we're going to be comparing a couple Mannlichers. Okay, I know it's not really pronounced Mannlicher. I know everybody's like, oh, it's Mannlicher, but me and Aaron talked about that in the podcast some, so you could say it's Mannlicher, because I guess that's a little bit a better way of saying it. Sounds a little less funny, but really the German pronunciation of it's going to be a lot closer to something like Mannlicher. So you just pick the way you want to say it, whatever. We're going to be talking about this gun today. This is the Swiss 1893 Mannlicher. If you didn't know about it already, the Swiss, they had a Mannlicher rifle for just a little bit. Now, they didn't have this rifle for very long, and they didn't make very many of them. They only made something about 7,000 of these. Production numbers didn't get very high. Now, I'm not going to be talking about this rifle in great detail today. There's another couple videos out there. Look on the Range, obviously, and Ian, they did a couple really good videos on this. So if you want to deep dive into the rifle's history, that's a good place to do it. I'm just going to be talking about a little bit of sort of the practical side of this, and I'm going to also be comparing this to this gun's contemporary, the M95 Stutzen, as Aaron would say, or Carbine, as I'm going to call it here today. So these two guns, they're very similar in length, pretty similar in weight, and we're just going to sort of talk about some of these. M95s, these are a gun probably most of you at least have had a chance to buy at some point or another. These are pretty common guns. They're most often found in 8x56R. They take a Mannlicher clip. A lot of people don't necessarily value these rifles very much, and it's sort of reflected in the price of these. Now, original ones in 8x50, those go for a bit higher, especially the longer ones. But these upgraded short rifles, they definitely don't go for very much. So this is a pretty common rifle. So it's what I'm going to be comparing the M93 to. So I was very pleasantly surprised when I first picked up this rifle and just sort of held it. It's very, very light. It's that comfortable, I think, sort of sweet spot of weight. This one weighs at 6 pounds 10 ounces. So I think this is just a really, really nice, handy carbine. Probably the weirdest thing you've probably noticed already, that this gun has the German style sling on it. I'm not sure why the Swiss went this route on this gun. I guess they didn't have their own sort of side sling system developed yet, so they went with this German pattern. And this is a K98K reproduction sling, and I mean it fits in here perfectly. Now the M95 shorty here, this gun is 7 pounds 5 ounces, so it's pretty significantly heavier. It's 11 ounces heavier. And just picking it up, I can definitely tell that extra weight in it. It's still not bad. I don't think the 7 pound 5 ounces is bad at all, especially if you're going to be shooting a cartridge as stout as the 8x56. The little bit extra weight, it was really helped the recoil mitigation of the gun. But either way, this thing kicks. So one of the biggest differences between the Swiss gun and the M95 is that the Swiss gun, instead of having a Mannlicher clip system, they chose to stick with the Lee style magazine. So right in front of inside the trigger guard here, you have a button where this will be the clip eject on the M95. On the Swiss gun here, this is just to remove the magazine. So if I press this, kind of pull the magazine a little bit, just sort of rocks out. And this is a 6-round magazine, so it just takes the standard 6-round sort of little charger packet that's the Swiss use. This gun's not set up to use the stripper clip like the G11 and the K31R. This gun can only take the little cardboard style charger packet. Okay, here's sort of one of the bigger misconceptions about Mannlichers that you sort of hear. So I think a lot of people started saying this whenever Othais did his episodes on the Mannlichers, and a lot of people say that the bolt smoothness has to do with like a numbers matching gun. Like if you have an original numbers matching gun, the bolt's going to be really smooth. And this bolt is actually numbered, and the numbers match the receiver. This is a numbers matching gun, and it's very smooth. It's you know, it's as smooth sort of as I would expect. Not as smooth as the K31 though. This isn't quite that good. However, this has been a reworked, it's a renumbered bolt here on this M95. And this gun is surprisingly smooth. It's one of the reasons why I bought it. It just happened to be very, very smooth. And honestly, I kind of almost think that this is smoother than the Swiss gun, which is kind of crazy that one of these reworked, renumbered guns could be as smooth as an original made at the factory matching one. So I was definitely surprised that the bolt wasn't smoother. It's not bad at all. It's just not as good as I sort of expected it to be, a high-level Swiss-made gun. This gun was made in the first year of manufacturing at Neuhausen. It was made in 1896. Just in case you wanted to know. All right, so obviously this Lee magazine system has a couple really big benefits over the Mannlicher system. I won't get into like all of them, but of course, you know, it's easy to top up the magazine on a Lee. The magazine's removable, so there's some big pluses there. Now, the way that the Mannlicher magazine I think shines the most is speed and loading. So I'm going to do a couple like comparisons of loading both of these guns, and we'll sort of see the speed comparison. I'm sure you can get a little faster the more you do that, but I don't see a gigantic difference in the loading speed. The clip, if you don't insert it exactly perfect, it tends to sort of bind up or stop a little bit. The safeties on both guns are pretty much identical. It's just this little safety that you push up on the left side of the bolt. That's identical. However, the cocking piece on the Swiss 1893 is it's pretty tiny. It's not, I mean, it's better than a lot of other guns, but it's not like the most comfortable or easiest to cock. The cocking piece on the M95 though is nice and large, and it's much easier to cock. It's just got a nice pattern to it. It's much wider. You can definitely tell that there are some refinements later on that was put into the M95 bolt. Now the way you remove the bolt is also different on the 1893. On this one, there's this little tab on the side that you press. It's kind of similar to how a Mauser bolt kind of comes apart, but it's on the opposite side of the receiver. So you would just sort of pull this and then pull the bolt back and it comes out. On the M95, you actually press the trigger forward and then pull the bolt out. I'm definitely going to go ahead and say that the sight on the 1893 is more complicated, like not like a lot, but so the battle sight's at 300 meters. And then if you want it at 400 or more, you flip that forward and now it's 400 meters. And then you have to squeeze this little button and then move this kind of up or down to the mark wherever you want it. So it goes out to 1200 meters here. But at least it's in something nice like meters, where the M95 here, this one's in Schritt. Now I know there are ones that are in meters, but this one's in Schritt. The battle sight here is 500 Schritt, which is like around 400 meters, something like that. And then it goes all the way up to 2400 Schritt, which is, you know, pretty, that's a shoot and hope you hit something when you get to that sort of range. Also, the sight picture is better on the M95, I think. I don't know if you could tell it all this way, but the sight picture is better. This front sight blade by itself is a deadly weapon. Like, this thing is pretty sharp. This can cut you. This can rip gun cases and everything. So you got to be careful with the front sight on the M95s. Take a look at the sight picture on the M93 here. It's not quite as good. It's not bad at all. It's not quite as good as the M95. But what is really nice is that this gun has little front sight protector ears that stick up on either side of this, which is really, really nice. I always like it when rifles have front sight protectors like this. So the 1893, it's only rated for GP90 ammo. You can't really shoot the GP11 out of it. I guess it will shoot, but it's just, you know, it's bad. It can cause failures over time through this gun. The Swiss manuals, they say that you could shoot GP11 out of the 1889, but it's supposed to be like emergencies only, don't do it a lot type of thing. So this gun, it's basically loaded to, the best way to say the amount of power that this gun has is if you can imagine like a 308 round that's downloaded to like 30-40 Krag cartridge power. So that's about where this is. It's not terrible at all. It's definitely good enough. but it's not like the most powerful thing out there. And unless you have a stash of like GP90 ammo, you're definitely going to have to reload for this thing, which is not terrible. You're definitely going to have to like find some factory 7.5 by 55 brass and kind of maybe trim it a little bit to like 53 to 54 millimeters, something like that, to work best in this. But it's not impossible. It's not impossible to get the brass or the projectiles for it or anything like that. It just kind of requires reloading. M95s on the other hand, like this one, 8x56. 8x56 is pretty available. It's kind of expensive, but you can buy it off the shelf at least. It's something you'll definitely want to reload for just to handle costs. If you get one of these that isn't converted, that's an 8x50, you're going to have to straight up reload for it. So it's kind of in the same boat as the 1893 if you have an original one, an 8x50. But this gun is a little bit more powerful, especially in 8x56. This gun is going to kick more, has a little bit more power behind it. But I guess you got the power, but you also got more recoil with it. So it's a little bit of a trade-off like that as far as the shooting experience goes. All right, here we can see up close a little bit more of the differences between the two bolts with the 1893 here and the M95 here. So you can see the cocking piece that I mentioned earlier. It's much smaller on the 1893. It's really nice and big on the 1895 here. It's a really nice size, easy to recock the bolt if you have to. Safeties are very similar on each. They're not really the smoothest safety to use on either gun. They take quite a bit of force to click on, but I guess at least it is a safety. Other than that, from the top of these bolts, they look pretty identical. You don't really see a lot of the differences until you flip these over and sort of look on the underneath these. So this is definitely a gun that I plan on shooting and carrying and everything. Just the lightweight and the ease of handling. I could definitely see myself, carrying this gun while hiking or something like that. And it's powerful enough that I feel safe. Maybe having to stop some sort of dangerous animal from attacking me. So I definitely like the idea of this rifle. It's really interesting that the Swiss hated it. One of the stories is that the Swiss soldiers, they hated this gun so much that they would break them and turn them in to get new different guns because they didn't really like them that much. So they're only making 7,000. Not very many made it back to the States, and then the kind of condition that they're in once they get back here can vary widely. So these guns are pretty, they're not terribly expensive when you consider like the price of what K31s are going for now. But they're going to be a lot harder to find than stuff like K11s and K31s and stuff like that if you want one. But they're definitely cool. They definitely fill a nice sort of spot in your Swiss rifle collection. This could, if you're a Mannlicher collector, this could fill an interesting spot in your Mannlicher collector because not a whole lot of like non-Balkan countries adopted Mannlichers. So this is just kind of a neat addition to anyone's overall collection, really. Thank you guys for watching. Check out the links in the description, and I'll see you next time.